שבים אותו לביתו, ויום טוב לאוהביו, כי נסלח לכל עדת ישראל. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שהשם אלוקיו, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שהשם אלוקיו, אשרי העם כאוהל הנמתח בדרם על המראה שואל, כברקים היוצאים מזיו החיות מראה שואל, דמות הקשת בתוך הענן מראה כהן, כחסד הניתן על פני חתן מראה כהן, וכהנים והעם עומדים בעזרה, כשהיו שומעים את שם השם המפורש יוצא מפי, כהן גדול היו קוראים, משתחווים ונופלים על פניהם. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Good Erev Yom Tov, everybody, and Gemar Chasima Tov, and thank you so much for joining us. Each and every one of us at this point in time, probably very involved in last-minute preparations for Yom Kippur. This, in any other situation, would be probably the least ideal time to run a program like this. This is a day in which we are already running in many different directions and busy and trying to make sure that we are prepared properly for the holy day of Yom Kippurim. And so therefore the question which you may have already asked yourself, but I'm going to ask, is why is it that right now, a little less than 4 hours before the beginning of Yom Kippur, we're going to stop our preparations and spend a few minutes together to sort of celebrate and to observe and to just reflect and process together on what we are calling the miraculous recovery Be'ezras Hashem, which will continue, of Micah Chaim ben Sar. So I think that this is a most appropriate time. I think that this is the most appropriate time, and I cannot think of any better time. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. First of all, Micha's recovery is an opportunity for each and every one of us to express as individuals, as friends of Micah and the Kaufman family, as members of a community that were dealt such a painful and such a tragic blow this past winter, the opportunity, even still in the midst of a year of grieving for a very dear and beloved member, Shelley Mermelstein, Alava Shalom. It's an opportunity for us to reflect from a perspective of Hakar Satov, of Hodul Hashem Kitov, Kili Olam Chasto, how grateful we are, how fortunate we are to have had the opportunity to witness a miracle. I said to members of Micha's family and Micha as well on Erev Rosh Hashanah, I believe, that while no one, certainly Micah, and no one in Micha's family, none of us would have ever asked to be on the stage, if you will. I certainly feel that I had the opportunity this past year to sit sort of front and center and to observe a miracle. And you know, I don't use that word lightly, but that's really what it was, and that's really what it is. And at this time, a time in which we daven for miracles, a time in which we pray for miracles, we want so much to be able to see a miraculous turn and change of events. It's a great opportunity for us to just stop and to say how fortunate we are to have been witness to an incredible transformation, a form, as you'll see in a moment in the video that has been prepared, a form of Techias HaMesim. There's another reason why I think it's very appropriate for us to gather today, and that is that Micah has always had a tremendous love for the Yom Noraim and for the davening of Yom Noraim in particular. Micah is, for many of you who know him and have observed him perhaps since the time he was much younger than he is today, he's an individual who always cherishes his place in shul, but particularly on the Yom Noraim, has always appreciated the opportunity to be at the right place at the right time and following his favorite chazanim. I'm sorry I'm a little distracted, but I just wanted to dig up and I found a text message that was sent to me at 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, December 22nd from Micha's sister Margit. And for those of you who recall, on that very, very sad day was the day of Shelley's Levaya. This was 3 days after the very, very tragic accident that occurred. And Micha had not yet moved at all in 3 days. And we davened for him. We said Tehillim for him at the Levaya. And the message that I received was, I have not seen this with my own eyes, but Merrill just texted me that Micha started to spontaneously move his arms, his legs in his mouth. And this was at the precise moment that we were davening for him. Later that day, several hours later, I received a text message that Eli and David Shapiro recorded some nigunim from the Yom Noraim. We are playing them now, and it looks like he is trying to move his feet to the songs. And then Margit comments, and Micha hates long davenings, except for Elliot's. So I want you all to appreciate and to understand that this past December, when all of us perhaps had our minds in other songs, and it was certainly not the season of Yom Noraim, 72 hours after this accident, people who know and love Micha so much and know what makes him tick and know how to reach his soul, just sort of intuitively knew that the way to get there, the way to cut through everything would be to play him recordings of the nigunim, the songs, the tunes, the familiar tfilos of Yom Noraim. And they were effective at that time. And Bli Ayin Hara, we are here 9 months later and able to see the incredible progress that Micha has made. And the final reason why I think it is appropriate that we stop today and just sort of gather and reflect and process together this incredible milestone is because it is a reminder for each and every one of us the power of prayer. We are going into the day of Yom Kippur and the final day of the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, which is a day of tefillah. And davening, while it is naturally meaningful and invigorating and energizing to some, it is a struggle for others. And that's under all circumstances, particularly this year, where some of us feel displaced and disconnected and not in the place we want to be and not in the way we want to be. But we have had, again, the opportunity this past year to see that when a community comes together, when a nation comes together and rallies as we did in prayer, beseeching the Almighty to assist us in what may have seemed at the time to be impossible. So it is very, very important that we reflect with a sense of satisfaction and appreciation that prayer helps, that prayer works. It is true that we don't always get that satisfaction immediately. It is true that sometimes we walk away from the experience of prayer feeling as if we wanted more, but we have to recognize and appreciate that every tefillah counts. And the Einai Ra'isi, I had the opportunity, particularly over the first few months, to see how slowly but surely Micha taking very, very small steps, moving slowly in the right direction. And there's no question in my mind, that it was because of the constant prayer that was taking place from so many different communities and so many different families and so many different people, including, of course, the many people who are connected right now. And going into this day, a day which is designated as a day of prayer, of tefillah, seems to be a most appropriate time for us to gather and to say Hodu Lashem Kitov Kili Olam Chasto, to say to Micha, we are so thrilled and so happy to have seen you return to Shul, return to Aminyanim, return to all of the various places that you have slowly but surely started to re-enter and re-engage and reaccustom yourself and refamiliarize yourself. It is amazing for us to watch, and we thank you for the chizuk that you've given us, and please God will continue to give us. At this time, I'm going to call your attention to a little video that was first going around last week, so you may have seen it because it's gone somewhat viral, but personally I could certainly watch this again. It gives me a nice boost of chizuk, and then Micha is going to speak to us for a few minutes.
Me to meet you and your wonderful family. Since I donated my kidney to you, I've been waiting anxiously for the opportunity to meet you, and thank God you're now feeling well enough that we were able to meet. Dr. Rivka, I would like to give you a bracha, that with this opportunity, you should be able to enjoy your life as fully as you did before your illness. More importantly, I hope you're able to enjoy your children and grandchildren for many years in health and happiness.
Tonight is a very, very special, emotional night, especially for the Teaneck community. We lost a family member, we lost someone from the community, and we have someone that is struggling to stay alive. Whatever we can do tonight, whatever funds we raise, are all going to be going for their zichut.
As many of you are aware, just over 2 months ago, a beloved member of the Teaneck community, Micah Kaufman, was struck by a car and seriously injured. We thank Hashem for the gradual and miraculous improvements to Micha's health and continue to plead that he be provided with a full and speedy recovery. Please join me in reciting a psalm on Micha's behalf. Tehillim Kof Lamed. Shir HaMa'alos Mimamakim Krosicha Adonai.
I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. And I will stay with you. We'll make it to the other side like lovers do. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to enter
Can you try to talk again? Can you try to say another word? Can you try to say yes? You did it just before a minute ago. Can you try to say yes, Micah? What do you need? You're strong?
Give it up. I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath. Even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on.
He asked for video so he could see where he's getting better.
Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me. I will fight. I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue.
Micah, the floor is yours.
Hello and Gemar Chasima Tova to everyone. Thank you to Rabbi Rothwachs for his words of inspiration, and thank you to Rabbi Rothwachs and his wife Chaviva for your unbridled support of me in the last few months and always. Hello, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak with you today. As all of you know, around 9 months ago, my life and the life of my family was completely turned upside down. I will not go into all the details at the moment, but suffice it to say that my presence here today is a miracle. The injuries that I sustained this past December were so severe that my family and friends were given very little hope to be optimistic for a recovery. While I still have a ways to go, I am so thankful and appreciative that I'm able to speak with you today and share my thoughts and emotions. The rabbi just spoke to you about the importance of davening, but I would like to talk about something else. When I went to school, I was never really so driven to succeed academically. But while I was in school and the years since, I've been able to contribute to my community and society. While there are certain individuals who are naturally gifted students, there are others who are better with their feet and hands. I am a doer. I have had the opportunity to be involved in many different organizations and causes, and over the course of many years, I have earned a reputation of being someone who gets things done. Of course, I'm not saying this to brag in any way. I'm not looking for you to clap for me or say, wow, that's amazing. I just want each and every one of you to realize that everyone can contribute in a meaningful way. There are so many situations where you have opportunities to help out, to assist, whether you like learning, cooking, driving, talking, visiting, or working with your hands. There are so many things that we can do to help one another, that we can do to help another in need. We can assist our neighbors in putting up their sukkah. Next time it snows, help your neighbors, especially those who are unable to shovel their own walkway. If you drive, help those who cannot go to doctor's appointment or run errands for them. Find out who in your community needs a little chizuk or support and call and visit them. Obviously, in these situations with COVID, visit them outside. Find the organizations that you connect with. It doesn't have to be religious chesed. I have been on the board of the local Little League in Teaneck, TBO, which brings so much joy to young kids in the community and offers them a chance to learn about important skills both on and off the field. I am on the board of Sinai Special Needs Schools, which ensures education for those who could have been left out. And I have volunteered at their home for adults over the years. Because I'm good with numbers, I've kept the counting books for Tomchei Shabbos in Bergen County and have been the shul's treasurer for the last 10 years. God willing, in the near future, I will be able to get back to that. I think it's important that that the person who was with me in the accident, Mr. Shelley Mermelstein, Zechron Levracha, was a true tzaddik. He was the head of the Chevra Kadisha on which I serve. God willing, in the near future, I will be able to take on his role as the head of the Chevra in his memory. As you saw in the video, I donated my kidney about a year ago because I saw this as a way as the ultimate way to help another. Even when I was recovering from my kidney surgery in the hospital, I saw an opportunity to do more chesed and snuck out of the hospital to visit a friend recovering from knee surgery across the street. Again, I'm not saying this to brag. I just want to show you that there are always opportunities to do chesed in all parts of your life. As you guys grow up, I would like you to, as you guys move on, I would like to keep in mind that no matter where you go or where you end up, there are always opportunities for chesed. I've come to appreciate this even more over the past several months, as I've had to receive help from others more than I have ever had to before in my life. Needless to say, it is definitely easier to be a giver than a receiver. That being said, it makes all the difference in the world when you have a family, friends, and a community that supports and helps you in your time of need. I am very much looking forward to the day when I can return to my routine of giving my whole self. But for the time being, I recognize this is where I need to be, and slowly but surely as I recover, I will be able to contribute more and more and give back more and more. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I want to wish each and every one of you a happy Gemar Chasima Tova.
Thank you, Micha. I gave you folks 3 reasons before why today was the most appropriate day to do this, and I just thought of another one, and that is that very few people, at least in Beth Aaron, are going to hear a drasha this Yom Kippur. For logistical and practical reasons, it makes it very difficult to go around. But I think you just heard the greatest Yom Kippur drasha that anyone could ever deliver. There is nothing that I could possibly have said which would have been as inspiring, as motivating as that. Micha, you are an incredible inspiration and a reminder to each and every one of us. As it said so powerfully in that video, Afilu cherev chada unachas al tzavara shel adam, even in a situation where we feel that all hope is lost and that there is no future and that we cannot possibly go on, a person should never ever hold himself back, but being mevakesh rachamim. And you have inspired each and every one of us to go into this day of Yom Kippurim with a renewed energy and an excitement and a sense of optimism. That Be'ezras Hashem, just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu has performed a great nace on your behalf, and we have all been the beneficiaries to observe that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should perform a nace for each and every one of us on behalf of the entire Klal Yisrael. And this should indeed be a year of continued progress, health, peace, success, happiness, and fulfillment for us and for the entire world. Thank you. Gemar Chasima Tova to all.